Did you know that during World War II, Nazi tried to operate on America itself? Not on battlefields in Europe, not across oceans, but right here on American soil. This is the part of history that almost nobody talks about. And when you hear it, you'll realize how close the United States came to a nightmare within its own borders. In 1942, America was on high alert after entering the war post-Pearl Harbor. But while Americans were preparing to fight across the Atlantic, the Nazis had a different plan. Instead of just fighting abroad, they wanted to bring the war to America's heart. Hitler approved something called Operation Pastorius. The mission: send Nazi agents straight into the U.S. to cause chaos. 8 men, all trained in sabotage, secretly crossed the Atlantic. 2 submarines carried them, one landing on Long Island, New York, and the other in Florida. Imagine the scene: a quiet American beach in the middle of the night. Men in German uniforms dragged explosive boxes ashore. Their mission was to blow up American factories, railroads, bridges, and even hydroelectric plants that powered the war industry. But here's the part most people don't know. The plan failed almost immediately. Not because America caught them right away, but because one of the Nazis lost his nerve. George Dosch, the leader of the New York group, actually went to the FBI himself. He walked into a hotel in Washington, D.C., called the FBI, and said, "I am a German saboteur." At first, they didn't even believe him. They thought he was crazy. But then he handed them $84,000 in cash, money given by the Nazis to fund their secret mission. Suddenly, the FBI realized this was real. Because of Dosch's betrayal, all 8 saboteurs were captured within weeks. 6 of them were executed in the electric chair. 2 were spared because they cooperated. But here is a detail that will blow your mind. The trial of these Nazi spies was so secret that even the Supreme Court had to meet in private to decide their fate. To this day, it remains one of the most secretive trials in American history. Now you might be thinking, that was the only attempt, right? Wrong. Nazi Germany didn't give up so easily. They had more ideas. They launched something called Operation Elster, another plan to send agents into America. This time, spies landed in Maine in 1944, carrying radio equipment so they could send intelligence back to Germany. But again, just like the first mission, one of them immediately gave himself up. It was as if Hitler's agents simply weren't cut out for secret life in America. But here's something even creepier. During the war, the FBI uncovered a massive Nazi spy network already operating inside the U.S. These weren't men coming from submarines. They were businessmen, immigrants, and even American citizens who secretly supported the Third Reich. In fact, before the war even began, a group called the German-American Bund openly marched in New York City, carrying swastikas alongside American flags. They even held a rally in Madison Square Garden in 1939 with more than 20,000 people praising Hitler right in the middle of Manhattan. Imagine seeing that. Nazi flags waving under the bright lights of New York, and the secrets go deeper. Nazi Germany had scientists and engineers in America sending them information. There were attempts to steal blueprints for aircraft, weapons, and even radar technology. The FBI was chasing dozens of small spy rings scattered across the country. Many of these stories were buried after the war, never talked about again, because America didn't want people to panic. But perhaps the most shocking of all was the Nazi dream of something even bigger. Hitler actually backed research for bombers that could fly from Europe to New York. He called it the America Bomber. If it had worked, the Nazis could have dropped bombs on US cities. Luckily for history, those planes never became reality, but the plans existed. Imagine how different the world might look today if they had succeeded. And let's not forget the U-boats. German submarines hunted American ships just off the East Coast. In fact, in 1942, Nazi subs sank so many ships near American waters that the glow from cities like New York and Miami made them easy targets. Ships were burning within sight of beachgoers. To protect them, cities even enforced blackouts at night so the coastline would be dark. So, what does all this mean? It means that during World War II, the war was closer to America than most people realize. Nazi agents set foot on US soil. Spies lived among ordinary people, and Hitler dreamed of striking American cities. Most of these stories never made it into school textbooks, but they are real, documented, and chilling reminders of how history could have gone in a very different direction. In the end, America's defenses, combined with betrayal from within the Nazi ranks, kept these missions from succeeding. But it's strange to think, if even one of those sabotage plans had worked, if a major factory had exploded, if spies had remained, hidden longer, if the America Bomber had ever taken flight, the entire course of the war could have shifted. The war we imagine as over there in Europe wasn't just over there. It was knocking at America's door. And the secret Nazi operations inside the United States prove that no place was ever truly safe during World War II.